Hello, Leo. So, Leo, this is for you. And let's see what's in the cards for you, Leo. I think there's one more shuffle needed here. Okay. So, ooh, Empress, starting off the month. What a nice card to open the month on. I think someone else got that too, one of the other signs. It's just a great, fertile card showing that things are growing. And for those of you who are interested in the deck that I'm using, this is the Morgan Greer deck. A lot of you have expressed interest in it. I actually love this deck and its vibrant colors and the imagery, but I'll put a link to it in the description because I know there are several of you who've been interested in this. So Leo, again, you have Empress, which is growth energy. Empress is abundant. She's all about prosperity, abundance, fertility, things growing. She represents the goddess of like the harvest. You can see these shafts of wheat that she's holding in her hand, and behind her, she's the equivalent of Demeter in the Greek tradition or Ceres, the Earth Mother. So she's often depicted as pregnant or very fertile. And she represents everything that is to do with growth. So things may be really growing for you, Leo, right now, either in a way of your personal life, with your family, with your business, with your, anything that you're putting your attention to, it's growing, and this is nurturing energy. So things are becoming abundant, fulfilled. It's like your garden is growing. And that for you, Leo, falls in your 6th house, which traditionally represents work or health matters. So there may be a way in which either your work is growing or whatever it is that you started. So you may be able to harvest some things or seeing fruits of your labor of all the growth that has happened since March. She's actually her foot is sitting on this new moon here too. So it's sort of like everything that was planted during that time. This is a pomegranate, which represents the underworld or the winter months in the Greek mythology. And then she comes forth, and all the flowers bloom, all the trees are in green, there's waterfalls, there's sometimes like bunnies or animals running around in this card. So enjoy the fruits of your labor. That's something that's available to you. One thing to be careful of also towards the beginning of the month is don't fall into victim mentality or powerlessness. This is 8 of Swords, which means for me, in relation to you for this month, Leo, I'm seeing it as being stuck in your head. And this is sort of like being confined because swords represent the mental element and thoughts and ideas. It's sort of like being confined to only a handful of thoughts, and it keeps you immobilized. So what I'll say with this card, often this is a card of stagnancy, victimization, powerlessness. She feels like she can't move. She feels like she's stuck. Open your mind is what this card is saying to me. She has the power, I always say in this card, to cut her binds on one of the swords, take her blindfold off, and walk away. But she doesn't see that because she's wrapped up in the thoughts that, oh, this is how it is. I'm confined by these things. I don't have any power. She's not accessing her own power. So this says to me, for you, Leo, don't get caught up in your own limiting thoughts about how things are. That's going to be a recommendation for you with this card showing up. You have 2 interesting cards here that are about wish fulfillment and creation. However, they're both in reverse. 9 of Cups represents, this is a card of great satisfaction. By the way, so is this. These 2 cards, Empress and 9 of Cups, great cards of satisfaction. What may block you or limit you to some of the satisfaction is having any sort of powerlessness, victim mentality, getting caught up in your own head. So be careful of that. Again, see if you can, I'll even say, see if you can consider other people's ideas, or see if you can consider an idea that you haven't thought of before, because the current thought pattern is restricting you. So open your mind. And then that will unlock this 9 of Cups energy. This is in reverse, but Nine of Cups in the upright position means feeling fully satisfied, feeling a wish come true. It's like abundance. It's almost like it can't even mean too much of a good thing. So Nine of Cups is completely satisfied, completely satiated. I've seen this card depicted in other decks where Nine of Cups is with a lover at a full table with a full banquet. So it's like having the full 9 cups behind you, I always see this too for some reason as like a winemaker that has a whole locker full of caskets of wine, and they just kind of like, the wine is flowing. Life is good. Wishes are being fulfilled. He's content. He's full. He's satiated. But because it's in reverse, I'm going to say that there might be a wish that's not coming true for you, or there's something that's available to come true, but you're not quite allowing it to come to the surface. When cards are in reverse, I read them as being in shadow or being present but not being allowed to come to the surface. So my question to you is, what wish do you have that you're not allowing to be fulfilled or come to the surface? Because the energy for it to be fulfilled is there. There is that energy there of you being satisfied, especially with this card. How is it that you can get out of victim mentality or limited thought processes, stagnancy, so that this wish that is here waiting for you can be fulfilled, so that it can come to the surface, so that it can be realized? That's my question for you in the beginning part of the month, Leo. And you actually, I see that you have the creative power, the focus, the concentration, and the consciousness to bring that about for yourself. Magician is a major arcana card, which is a great card of strength and focus. And he basically takes what's available from the possible world of the etheric realm, the abstract realm. Everything is possible. He acts as a lightning rod, and he brings that down to the physical world. He puts it into actuality, into reality, and he says, like, abracadabra, there it is. So you have this positive force available to you, Leo. You actually are a very creative card just by nature. Leos are all about creation, self-expression. You guys can always hold a limelight, and you make things happen, and you just have this creative fire within you. With Magician in reverse, I'm going to say, how is your creative fire being blocked? This is a card of basic creation. Magician says, I create around me what I believe, what I see. And so how is it that you're not seeing that you can create the situation? With these 3 in line, I mean, it's interesting. You have everything available to you. There's lots of abundance. There's lots of prosperity. There's lots of growth. There's lots of reaping rewards from seeds you sown earlier, like back in March. And it's an abundant, fertile atmosphere. How is it that your lack of vision, perhaps, or your mindset is limiting you in order to not receive the wish fulfillment and the satisfaction, and not feel like that you are a creative force that you are? Because Magician is there. He is the ultimate creative force. He is the person who says, this is what I want, this is what I create, there it is. So he's showing up for you, but you're kind of blocking him. It's like he's waiting. The image I'm getting with him, it's really funny, is like he's outside of a nightclub behind the red velvet rope, and you're saying, no, you're not ready. You can't come in. You're not good enough or something. You're not the one who gets entry. For some reason, he's being blocked. You just need to like let him in. Let him embody Magician. Embody the parts of yourself that are Magician, because it's there, Leo. This is there for you. Just let it come to the surface. You have the power. And it's also about fulfilling that wish that you have. And then in the middle of the month, there's a couple different things going on. This card is Chariot. Again, another major arcana card. You have, let me see, you've got 1, 2, 3 of those this month. And he is in line with this Empress card. Chariot usually means directing things with the mind. It's sort of like the force of will. What Chariot does is he takes his mind and he guides these horses in different directions just based upon his thoughts. He's a very intuitive card. You can see from these crescent moons that he's got this intuition about things, because the crescent moons represent the subconscious mind or the emotions, what's behind the hidden realm. So what he does is he just guides this chariot with his mind, and he says, I'm going to go left, I'm going to go right, I'm going to take the force of my mind and direct it outwards to direct action in the world. He's kind of like magician in that way. Whereas magician takes all the resources available to him. Magician takes the mental element of the sword, the fire element of the wand, the emotional element of the cup, and the physical element of the coin, and brings them all into synthesis with alchemy and creates something out of all those. The chariot is far more related to the mind element versus emotional, willful, fire, or physical. But what it's telling me is that you're either not making good decisions or you're not trusting your judgment. It echoes for me the magician card, because this card is all about creativity, focusing of consciousness, of power to create results. And this one is all about heading in a particular direction, making decisions, trusting the force of the mind, trusting the intuition of the mind. Because it's in reverse, it's telling me that you're not accessing your highest force of will or your highest decision-making skills. You may have, your decisions may be in shadow right now. And I'm seeing too, with Empress having the crescent moon here and Chariot having the crescent moon, and also this card having the crescent moon, how is it that and by the way, the new moon is on September 13th, so these may be speaking to that for you. How is it that you have all this richness, all this growth, all this abundance and prosperity, all this growth basically since March, but that you're not trusting your decisions or your willingness to walk away from something and start a new journey? There's a block there for you, Leo, and I'm not sure what it's related to, but there may be some answers around the new moon where you can put these cards back in the upright position, like around the new moon. See if there's a way in which you can review your thought process and review your decision making, so that you do unlock this ability to begin something new, to walk away from something that you've put a lot of time and energy in. That's what Eight of Cups is telling me. Eight of Cups is usually about feeling a little bit weary, feeling perhaps like it's time to move on to a new chapter. This is something that you've put a lot of time and energy. I call it a lot of TLC. Eight of Cups, something you've built, a home, a job, a project, a relationship, just something you've poured a lot of yourself into. And Eight of Cups is willing to walk away. He says it's time to leave this thing behind and go check out new territory, go check out new areas. Around the time of the new moon, ask yourself, how is it that I am limiting myself? Am I holding on to something that I really feel is complete? Or, new moon is a great time for new, refreshing energy. It's a great time to plant new seeds, to allow them to grow and come to fulfillment. So that's one of the things Chariot in reverse is saying is review your decision-making skills, and also especially how it relates to trusting your intuition, because that's what he is usually the king of, or yeah, I guess the king. Also in the middle of the month, there is something related to a Queen of Cups person and related to resources that is in reverse. Queen of Cups is a very intuitive person, and this is in reverse here. So decision-making skills regarding the intuitive person, you're not trusting your intuition, perhaps, Leo, is what it's telling me. But this is traditionally a water sign, so this could be either Cancer or Scorpio or Pisces. And this Six of Coins has to do with resources. So a way in which resources, knowledge, power, money is being exchanged or divvied up or given. So it's being given to these people, but not to these people. Certain people are handing it out, certain people are receiving it, and other people are not receiving it. And this is telling me there's a balance in here. And what Six of Coins needs is a balance between how the resources are handed out. So that's, and especially in relation to Queen of Cups, there's some way in which there needs to be a correction of balance as to how the resources are being handed out, especially in relation to perhaps either a water sign person or someone who has a strong intuition. She is looking at these resources, and meanwhile, you know, Chariot is upside down too. So how in the middle of the month are you going against your instincts, especially in terms of resources? Is a lot of your money going in one direction? Is it worth it? Is it paying off for you? That's my question to you. Because it looks like there may be some way in which you may be disappointed, or you may have some heartbreak. At this card, I'm really just reading for you more as disappointment rather than heartbreak. Because what this means is like having put your heart into something, having really invested trust and feelings and emotion into something that you really believed in, and then this sword kind of pierces it. Actually, these three swords pierce it, and it might be that that it has to do with three people. There's a dynamic of perhaps three people that's not working, that has caused you some disharmony or disappointment. So keep an eye out open for that in the middle of the month, Leo. It may have to do with resources and finances, and you know, how are those being directed? And is it paying off for you? I think you need to trust your instincts on this, because Chariot and Queen of Cups in reverse, instinctive card, not being they're in reverse, so they're not being paid attention to. This is more of a mind card. She's more of an emotion card. So is there some way in which your emotions and your mind are not in alignment with one another in a way where it just feels like you're a little bit off in the middle of the month. So see how it is that you can trust your intuition. That is what will bring these cards back into their upright state. Okay, Leo, you can be very instinctive. And I think because the super full moon in Pisces, in your 6th house of work and health, if you have an instinct about something related to work or health, even if it's just a gut feeling, even if it's just like an intuition about something, follow that. Because especially with the super full moon in Pisces, your 6th house, work and health matters are highlighted. Something's coming to the surface for you to see it. And it's been a long time coming, so pay attention to it. Trust your instincts. Don't dismiss them. That's what I'm getting for you middle of the month. Don't dismiss your instincts, either mentally or emotionally, especially related to finances or resources. Otherwise, you may find some disappointment in relation to that.